Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Snyder and I'm an estate and elder law attorney in Irvine, California at Snyder Law, and I'm here for another installation of my Nuggets of Knowledge. It's a time that I get to chat with you about some things that are coming across my desk that I'm talking to clients about. And today what I'd like to share with you are the 7 reasons why not to add your children to your deed to your house. Lately, it seems, maybe it's because just the start of the year and people have some to-do things on their list, and that I've been getting a lot of questions about how do I just add my kids to my deed, or this is what I think I want to do, Kevin, I just want to add my kids to the deed. And I always counsel people to really think about this before you act, because what you're doing isn't just simply adding names to a document. There are a lot of different ramifications and implications for doing that. And what I want to share with all of you is some things to think about. The 7 reasons that I suggest to take a pause and not to add your kids to the deed to your home as an easy estate planning solution. Now, those reasons are, number 1, there's a lot of capital gain tax implications and ramifications for your kids. There's gift tax problems. There's property tax problems, particularly here in California. You are subjected to all of your kids' creditors and predators, those legal judgments, divorces, tax liens. You cannot easily undo what you've done in the past because it's not a unilateral act that you can do. And lastly, the 2 last reasons are that it could be an illegal gift for Medi-Cal purposes or Medicaid if you're in other states. And lastly, it could impact your ability to tap into equity on the home, whether you're taking out a line of credit or doing a reverse mortgage if you co-own the property with other people. So those are the 7 reasons why I say, look, take a pause. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? And really what people are trying to accomplish when they're saying to me, I want to add my kids to my deed, to my house, is that they're looking at trying to line up some succession for one of their most important assets, one of their largest assets. Your home and your retirement account as you get older are going to be the 2 most largest assets that you're going to have. And you want to protect that. And people want to do all of that in a very easy fashion. And the easiest, of course, is to simply add people onto title, co-own something, because if I die, then the other person's going to own it outright, and that's called joint tenancy. So there's this misnomer sometimes if I just add them on there, then that's going to be the easiest way that I can pass my home to my kids and protect it from probate. Well, you have these 7 problems that you can run into, and let's go over them again in a little bit more detail. The first is capital gains tax. When you pass away and pass property in death, you get what's called a step-up in basis or a stepped-up basis. What this is what the IRS and what your California or whatever state you're in is going to look at in determining how much taxes you owe. Because basically what capital gains taxes are is a tax on profit. And so the federal government and the state government are going to tax you on the profit that your home has accrued over time. So if you have passed away and you left a home in death through your estate planning, a will or trust, you are going to be able to have the property get a stepped up in basis. However, if you add the children on to title, what you're doing is giving them an interest in your home, then that home's not going to get a stepped up in basis to the full amount, only partially. So there's some missed opportunities here. An example, what do I mean by this? If you purchased your home for $100,000 and now you've lived in that home for 30 years and now it's appreciated to $1 million, if you were to sell that home right now, you'd have a profit or appreciation of $900,000. And the federal government and the state government is going to tax you on that profit. Yes, there are some exemptions that you can apply if you're married or single that can defray some of that or lessen some of that tax impact, but there's still going to be a capital gain that you're going to be taxed on. If you give that home, that $1 million home to your child and they sell it a few months after you pass away, then they're not going to get taxed on the $900,000 of appreciation. They're only going to get taxed on the appreciation of the home from the day that you died until the day that they sold it. Now, that same $1 million home, if you were to add them to title and then you pass away, then and your children sell that after a few months after you pass away, they're going to be taxed on the same amount that you would have been taxed on, because if you had sold it in life. So there's a huge missed opportunity. There's going to be a huge tax impact if you pass that. You add your kids to title and don't pass the home to them in death, but do and gift it during life. The other taxes that you can incur are, of course, gift taxes. Anytime that you're adding somebody to title, what you're doing is you're giving them an interest into property, and that gift has a value, an amount, and you have to record a gift tax return if that value is going to be over $15,000, because you don't want to get taxed on that. $15,000 is the annual tax exclusion, and you are going to have to claim that as a gift against your lifetime gifting amounts. All that means is that, look, if you add someone in a title, assuredly it's going to be a gift over $15,000, and there's going to be some work you're going to have to do to ensure that you don't get taxed on that. Because the way the tax law works, the giver gets taxed. And in California particularly, there could be some property tax implications. If you are adding multiple children onto a deed, yes, there are exemptions. Your property isn't going to get reassessed if you are passing portions of your property to children. There is an exemption for that. But what happens after you pass away? What happens is that your kids aren't going to want to co-own a property, and they're going to be looking to either buy each other out or just sell the property altogether. And if they try to buy each other out, then there could be and there will likely be a tax reassessment issue. So we've gone through three of the major implications are tax related. Now, non-tax related are your co-owners, your kids' liabilities. So when you add your kids onto title, you're just not adding their name onto title, you're adding all their baggage onto title as well. So you got to look to see who your child is, what their life circumstances are. Are they paying their bills on time? Are they racking up large credit debt? What's their credit score? Are they going through a divorce, or is there a likelihood of that? What type of business do they run? Are they subjected to a lot of liabilities? Are they going to get sued? And these are all things that are important to consider, because those are all creditors to your house. What if you add your child to title and they get a divorce? What if you add your child to title and they get into a car accident and get sued? Well, guess what? Your home that you're living in, that you now share with your child or children, that's their asset as well, and is subjected to their creditors. And you don't want to be in a position where you're losing your home because of your child's creditors. Or you don't want to be in a position where you want to sell your home but can't because there's a tax lien from one of your kids on the house that's preventing you from selling it and boxing you in. And that kind of bleeds into the next example. You cannot undo transferring over to your child part of your house very easily. It's not a unilateral act. People talk about, and I talk to clients and I listen to them, they say, I would just want to add my kid to title. Well, you aren't, that is a unilateral act as far as you're giving. You're giving a piece of the property to your child or your children, and you're signing off on that. It's just like you're selling your house, you're selling a piece of your house, an interest in your house, to your child or children. Now they own it. You can't easily take that back. They have to agree to it. Now, of course, this might not be an issue, at least right now, with your relationship with your child or your children, but you got to think about what life's going to be like years down the road. Are you going to be able to undo that act? Well, what if they don't want that? What if they have different designs about the house and the future of the house than you do? What if you want to sell your house and move to a different state, but they're looking at the home as their home? Maybe they're living in it with you. Maybe they're seeing it as their future inheritance and or an extra property, or a property they want to move into after you pass away, and they don't share the same vision. What then? How are you going to undo that? So there can be problems there. And if you add your child or children to title, again, that is a gift. It's a transfer. Even if you had them pay you some money for it, it's still a transfer of property. And that could disqualify you from Medicaid down the road. You might not need that now, but you could need that later on down the road, and this could be something we call an illegal transfer that would cause a penalty period to be imposed, and you might not be able to get the aid that you need when you need it, and might have to wait months before you can get that government benefit aid that you so desperately might need in the future, because you made this seemingly easy decision to just add somebody's name to title. And lastly is, and the seventh reason why I tell clients it's a bad idea to just simply add your kids to title while you're alive, is that it could affect your ability to get a reverse mortgage, affect your ability to get a home equity line of credit, because you just don't own the house. Somebody else owns the house. And remember when I said your home and your property is going to be subjected to your kids' liabilities, their creditors as well? What if there's a lien on the property because of one of your children, one of their creditors, and that's going to impact your ability to get any line of credit. It's going to impact your ability to get any lending, even on the equity on the house, because there's other people that have a stake in that equity. Also, your children's credit scores. Who's going to be secured on the note that the mortgage lender, the bank, wants to provide? That could be all problematic if your children don't have good credit scores at all. So there's a lot of things to think about here. So what seems like a really easy thing to do, and you can go online to any recorder's office in the county, any county in California, in fact any state, and just download a form, and it's called a transfer deed, and say, this is what I want to do, and then go ahead and record it. But like with anything in life, there are consequences to our actions, and it's important to step back and think about, what is this going to do? What are the legal ramifications for this? And I just gave you 7. Capital gains taxes, gift taxes, property taxes. You have ineligibility for Medicaid. You are assuming the liabilities of your kids, their creditors, predators, if they have a lawsuit, divorce, bankruptcy, or owe people money, and is going to impact your ability to qualify for lending in the future using a mortgage, a HELOC, a reverse mortgage. And it's not something that's easily undone. So think about those 7 things, and the best thing you can do, of course, is have a conversation with an expert, an attorney, to review what your goals are, because there are some other things you can do, like doing some trust planning. And we can sit down and try to accomplish the goal that you want, in another way that doesn't have these 7 consequences. All right, that's what I have for today, your nugget of knowledge. 7 reasons why not to add your children to the deed of your home. Think about that. Let me know what you want to hear about, or reply in the comments. I have some people watching here. Let me know what you think, what you learned, what you want to know, what you want to learn, and I'll be happy to talk about that in future installments. Really want to make this a education base for you guys, to really get a better understanding of some of the quote-unquote conventional wisdom that's out there, the misinformation that's out there, to kind of sift through all of that, so you know what you really need to be thinking about as you move forward in life, and you go through some of these difficult decisions. All right? So enjoy the rest of your evening. Keep being amazing, and I'll be talking to you soon.